There are sessions in darts where the darts are going in, but it still feels random. Not wild, not chaotic, just uncertain. You can score well, you can group well. And that could be the dangerous moment. Because that's when you're inclined to potentially start changing things. This video is about why that feeling can happen. And to show you don't have to actually rebuild or refix anything. It's just visualizing and seeing what you're doing to then fix what might be broken. When us players say our darts or our throw or our action feels a bit random on that day, we're not saying we're missing everything. What we're actually saying is, I don't trust this and I actually can't repeat anything. And sometimes that lack of trust is when we intervene. Look, it's not bad darts, they're just unclear. And do you know what? Doesn't happen to just you, doesn't happen to just me, happens to beginners, improvers, people at all levels. Now, here's where darts messes with your head. It's because you can have good results without fully understanding how it even happened in the first place. I'm an improving player. There's lots of beginners that follow this channel, lots of other improvers and people that are going past that stage. We're all the same. We all have these thoughts and nagging doubts in our head. I've just done something right. How did that happen? Or I've just done something wrong. How can I change that? What have I done wrong? All unclear. And when you don't understand why, the confidence then is borrowed, not owned. And let me tell you this, borrowed confidence always feels, because it is, temporary. And then the side effect of that is temporary confidence leads to a little bit of anxiety and, again, being unsure and unclear on what's happened. See that pattern here? It's all random. In our heads, in our action, that's the connecting part of this. Now I want to say a massive shout out to one of my subscribers and my Reddit friend, Alfie. Thank you very much for showing me this app. I'm going to talk about it now. It's a free app, so it's not promotion. It's just something that Alfie mentioned on Reddit, and I was like, that looks interesting. A few people said, should do a video on it. So here we are. It's called Pose and Tracking for Darts. Find it free on the App Store and Google Play, I believe. So why did I use it? And why am I making a video on it? I used it because it's a tracking app, not because I wanted to fix something. I wanted to see what I could naturally feel in my throw, because how often do we get to see what we're doing? How often do we get to see what we're feeling? This darts app has brought that to life. Now let me make it very clear. This is not about copying angles. It's not about the perfect line. And it's definitely not about rebuilding my throw. Simply, it's a way to slow down my throw so I can see what habits I've got and where, if any, improvements, slight tweaks I do need to make. I'll run you through now the slow motion analysis. So basically what it does, it puts lines on you, as you can see from the thumbnail here. It puts lines on it so you can see what your angle is. So the front angle will show you what my elbow degree is. And the side angle will show you the arc and the trajectory of when I pick my dart up, where it gets released and how my hand then moves to collect the other dart. So I'll flip that over now so you can get to see that, and we'll chat about it on the other side. So what are we looking at now? See, the yellow dots on my eye, it's showing my arm angle and degree about 90 degrees. My hand is in the same place each time I'm get ready to release the dart, so my set point's good. And you can see my follow through is almost perfectly straight down the line. I'm pretty happy with that. Side on view now, there's a little bit more technicality on this side. Here's the arcs, there's my arms picking the dart up and throwing it. There's the line of the follow through. There's the 90-degree arm. Release point the same. You can see the dart is going at the same trajectory every single time, and then the follow through is the same, almost identical. And there's the result. That's where they ended up, all in the 20s. Pretty straight, all in the 20s, as you can see. Now, before I go into this kind of bit here, apologies for the wood. It's pretty rudimentary, but the mess on that side, you don't even want to see it, and you would not be able to see them lines and angles and colours very clear. So here we are. This is my aim point. So this is where I'm at the top of my arc here, and I'm looking at the board. This is my aim point. So that's where my hand is at the stillest point. This is what I'm looking at here. This is what I want to see, what the difference is, my elbow height, because this will tell me what the difference is. So this one here, first dart, 91.7 degrees. So then we're going to flick it to the second dart, and I'm going to see what it is. You can see the arm here is actually much straighter. It's less to the side of that yellow line where the eye is basically straight to the floor. But the angle is what we're looking at, 92.7. There's not much difference. What, half a degree? Will it make any difference? I'm not a coach, I'm not professional, I don't know. But it doesn't seem that much of a variation to me. So that's showing me my elbow is in a good position. So let's go to the third dart and let's see if I've kept that trend up. Third dart, the white line is almost straight down the yellow line. So obviously you've got straighter, and more importantly, 92.9, that's exactly the same angle. So that's telling me, my feedback for myself is my elbow is in a naturally good position. So that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. So what I want to do now, just really quickly run through my elbow position, the degree of where it is when I pull back. So where is my hand at my furthest point of my pullback? I'm going to look at that degree really, really quick. Dart 1, 86.4. So as I'm here and I'm aiming, 86.4 degrees. That's where my hand is. That's as furthest back it goes. Let's quickly go on to dart 2 and 3. There's dart 2, 88.1. So that's where it's back. There's a slight variance in that. Now, when I'm going to flick to dart 3 in this visit, that number's going to be exactly the same. So it's the same angle here with the elbow, and it's the same here. So that means I am not moving. That's good, and I'm really happy with it. But let me show you anyway. And there we have it, 88.1. So that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. I know that moving forward, my arm, elbow, and pullback is not the issue. So anything that's going on, if I'm going high or low, I know that that's dropping. That's my clue. Really quick look at the side angle, and this will give us the clue as to why that first dart from the front angle was slightly different to the darts 2 and 3. The line here, this is my pullback, and the top line here is my release. Then note where the second dart is. The second dart, I'll tell you the colour next. Second dart is the red line. So the blue line is the first dart, and you see the second line, the pattern on the way up is the same, but actually when I release the dart, it's slightly lower. And that's because that elbow was in a different position. If you remember, there's a slight variance in the angle. And then to wrap it up, the yellow line is the third one. It's following exactly the same line as the red one. Exactly what the angles told us for that front facing camera to this one. They're identical, slightly different on the pullback when I'm coming up, but when I release that dart, it's right on top of the red. So that's why I downloaded this app, because sometimes it felt random. So when I was filming that, I did a few takes of it as well because I wanted to see different variations, but I wanted to give you a very good representation of what my normal throw looks like. And I found it really interesting that that blue line from the side was a little bit off to the yellow and the red line from the second and third dart. But that's all because of that elbow position and the way I pulled the dart back. There was something in that first one that triggered my brain to change something. I didn't do it consciously because I was just in the zone. As you can see from the video, I was just in the zone. So why does it feel random even when the results are pretty good? Because your brain wants to have that certainty. Have I done it right? Yeah. No. The uncertainty actually feels like randomness, even though it actually isn't. There's nothing going wrong, but you just feel sometimes it's a bit random. So after that first dart, obviously I went higher, so automatically there was something amiss. That's the moment where something usually, and players change things, and it always goes awry. You'll see that first dart go higher or lower, and then automatically you're changing something dramatic when it only needs a tiny tweak. You try and remove elements of your action when you don't need to. It's literally a tiny fractional change that you need to make. Tiny. What you don't want to do, and I'm very guilty of it all the time as an improving darts player, is this: tighten up, change my grip, maybe move my stance a little bit, change my body position on the hips, whatever it may be. There's always something that you try and tinker with. And that's where good darts turns random. And also, that's where good darts turn into forced darts. If you remember my video, Trust the Throw, link will be at the end, because it ties in pretty nicely with this video. Trust the throw. That's what I did in that demonstration clip. I trusted me throw. And here's the reframe that actually helps me on a daily, and even when I'm at just stood the hockey, every visit. Your throw and your mechanics, they're not random, they are human. And as humans, it's in our nature to change things we perceive are wrong. Consistency isn't eliminating variation. It's understanding how much variation you can have and still play well. The key takeaway from this video, and this, because I will be using this probably on a weekly basis to make sure I'm keeping myself on track, is this: your confidence comes from understanding. And without being able to see it, you don't understand what you're doing wrong. You think you might be doing something very dramatic. Now, this is a free app, and it's opened my eyes to what I can do and what I've done wrong. I used it before, and that one I put on there, I thought it was a good video to put up because it was pretty straightforward and good throws. There was some in there, and when I looked it back, I'm like, what are you doing? You can throw better than that. Trust the throw. So remember that line: the confidence comes from the understanding, not trying to feel perfect. Anyway, another shout out to my mate Alfie. Thank you very much for recommending this app. It's put me in a downward spiral of how bad I actually am at darts. I'm only kidding. I found it really useful, and when I saw it on Reddit, I thought, I'll have a bit of that. I want to see what I'm doing, because when I watch my videos back, I'm like, okay, yeah, looks all right. But what actually is underneath what we're doing? Without that little tracking thing, I found, this has kind of really opened my mind and eyes to what I actually am doing. Big shout out again to my mate Alfie for putting this up on Reddit and seeing what the app is. It's actually put things in perspective a little bit, so I know that my journey, I am getting better at darts, I am getting more consistent, but now I know what is my baseline. Where that elbow is, I know it's in a good position now. This pullback, great. And then that first dart, like I say, went higher, and the other two were nigh on perfect. They were sitting right underneath that first one that was an earlier release. As always, I hope this video has helped you. I'm not saying rush out and go and download this app, etc., etc., but do try it out, because if you are improving, you want to see what you're actually doing wrong. Looking back at videos, you might not be able to see those subtle differences, as in like the angle of your elbow and how you're pulling it back. Go and download it and have a look. Let me know in the comments how you're getting on with it. And with all these videos, I just want to make it really clear that this is more me documenting my journey. I have so many improvements I want to make in my game. I have not been able to find the videos online, so I'm breaking everything down step by step, problem by problem, and I'm trying to solve it myself. And I hope these videos do help you in some way, and if they do, please don't forget to like and subscribe. For now, thank you very much for watching. See you on the next one.